This immediately blends into 14, another key corner, and one that will have a bearing on a lap time. From here it's flat out up to 275 kilometers per hour before the final turn 15. A popular overtaking spot on the racetrack, but if you get it wrong, you'll end up in the pit lane. So make your apex, keep the car neat and tidy. When you see the exit, then it's full throttle, and another lap complete of this magnificent Sepang Raceway.
A superb circuit to host these 2 rounds of A1GP before the break for the new year. There's another look at the layout of the track and the various sector points. 34 laps will be the distance of the feature race.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough race. That 34 laps or 69 minutes plus 1 lap as is usual. And in fact, back in Chengdu we almost had an anomaly where we got to within 4 seconds of that situation overlapping.
Yes, that's right. We've got a new pole qualifying record which was set by Team Ireland. Of course, we had a new system in qualifying which was an interesting addition to the series, John, which was the use of power boost, not just for one straight but for the entire duration of a lap. Get rid of predictability. Everybody in the pit lane is getting a bit too clever by half, so what we've done is thrown a curveball in. That curveball actually is 1 shot of power boost for an entire lap. You can use it once in any one of the 4 qualifying segments. Up to you to choose when you do it. You have to advise Ferrari so they can prepare the engine for that. But it really is going to be an unknown for everybody this weekend. Yes, it was very interesting. First time that they've run the system where you could use power boost. You could only use it in one of the 4 segments. You had to decide which one it was going to be, and it was interesting to see some teams went for sprint race grid, some went for the feature race grid. With a look back at the story of qualifying, here's Diana Binks.
A1GP's 4th visit to a hot and humid Sepang international circuit saw current series leaders and host nation Malaysia quickly take to the track for sprint race qualifying. But it didn't quite go to plan after an incident with the Korean car brought out the red flags. That didn't stop France and New Zealand setting the early provisional poles, whilst Italy's young gun Edoardo Pescatore took his best qualifying position of the season so far. Despite a number of technical difficulties during free practice, it was Sepang specialist Neil Yarni who continued an incredible sequence that has seen him take the sprint race pole in 4 consecutive seasons.
We had a difficult start, and even in Q1 for the sprint race it looked very difficult, being only 10th, so I had a lot of pressure for that second qualifying segment, but we managed to do it well, and that was our first pole of the year.
As feature race qualifying got underway, it was Australia who put in an early quick lap, much to the delight of seat holder Alan Jones. Despite a slight hiccup in the pit lane, Malaysia's Firuz Fauzi posted an even quicker time to take provisional pole. The surprise of the session, though, came from Lebanon's Daniel Morad, who took the team's highest ever qualifying position in 3rd. As the session moved into the final seconds, it was Ireland's Adam Carroll and Great Britain's Danny Watts who both used the new power boost feature to lock out the front row, with the Irish car just topping the times to take their nation's first ever feature race pole.
Well, it means a lot. You know, it's been a long time coming, and I'm very happy that I could do it for them, and just part of the team. We've really come together this season, and I knew with the new car it would suit me a lot, and personally for me, extremely happy with the pole position.
So looking over the circuit now, you can see that little bit of cloud around, fairly white fluffy cloud most of it, although there is a little bit of greyness. So at the moment, looking good for a dry race, bit of a breeze coming in.
That's my concern. Once the breeze begins to pick up, it can blow, and there you see just behind the racetrack, the darker cloud than the fluffy white stuff over the circuit right now. So if that breeze does pick up, it may well drag in some precipitation, which is just a further joker in the pack of a weekend that's providing some new elements to everybody in the pit lane.
Absolutely, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there, but right now conditions are good, fans are enjoying themselves. There you are, good crowd in the main grandstand here alongside the start finish straight, trying to keep cool if possible. It is very warm, very humid. Well, we're here now getting ready for the feature race this afternoon, but a little bit earlier on today, of course, the sprint race took place. Let's take a look at what happened. We've got pretty much ideal conditions as we prepare for the sprint race here at Sepang in Malaysia, but it is hot out there. It's always hot in Malaysia. No risk of rain, I think, at the moment. El Bamba has raced plenty of times in lower powered machinery. He lines up in third place for Team New Zealand. Let's see what he can do from there. But on the front row, Loic Duval of France, a double podium finisher here last year. He'd love to get a win to back up the victory he had at Zandvoort, but to do that he's got to beat this man, Neil Yarni of Switzerland, who has won the sprint race here in the last 2 seasons we've been here with A1GP. Let's look at the grid in a bit more detail then. Another superb effort from Yarni for Switzerland. He takes pole, France lines up alongside, and then on that second row we've got New Zealand joined by new race winners from China, Team Portugal's Filipe Albuquerque. Italy and Great Britain on the third row of the grid. Row 4 sees Ireland and Mexico. Good effort that from David Garza. Netherlands and India on row 5. Row 6, South Africa and USA. Then Malaysia, host nation, 13th on the grid, ahead of Monaco and Australia. Then China and Lebanon and Indonesia. Korea, unfortunately, not able to make it onto the track. So cars coming out of that final corner, getting ready for the start. Oh, we've got a car in the air! 2 cars, something has gone big time wrong at the back there in the midfield, and the race has not been started. The start has been aborted. We've got amber lights showing, red lights still on. Neil Yarni, I think, has already seen that. The USA car, that's Marco Andretti, also the Brazilian car, Felipe Guimarães involved, and I think the Indian car was also involved. You saw the rear wing of the Indian car sitting on the tarmac. Now let's see if we can see what happened about halfway down the grid there, I think. Oh, it's Marco Andretti, and then the Brazilian car riding straight over the back of Narain Karthikeyan. The right-hand group just sort of slows down a bit. Marco Andretti's hard on the throttle, and he goes straight over the back of Team India. Brazil following him, and John Martin of Australia had to take to the grass to try and avoid all that. View from the other side. Oh, look at the cars flying up, and look at Faraz Fawzi just avoiding the debris. Listen up here to Narain Karthikeyan. Boy, you could clearly hear Karthikeyan start to go, then he had to back off, and then that happened. Cars now being pushed back up onto the grid.
Narain, obviously sorry to catch you here, difficult moments. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling okay. It's just the rolling starts have been disastrous the last couple of races, and it's a chain reaction really. Mexico slowed in front of me, then everybody slowed down basically. I don't know who slowed in front of Mexico, but somebody accelerated and then slowed down. It's the same like Mexico last year.
Marco, a bit of a disaster on the start there. Tell us what happened.
On rolling starts, you either go or you don't. I mean, normally when they abort it, it's going to be way down there. The 2 rows ahead of me went, and I was like 3rd, 4th. I was about to grab 4th gear, and everybody's all of a sudden checked up, and I had way too much momentum to stop the car. So big disappointment for the whole team. Now they're going to bust their butts to try to get it back together for the feature, but it's a long way to come for that. Disappointing.
Yeah, certainly a lot of damage to the car. Are you confident that it will get fixed?
We're still waiting to know. That's why I'm kind of around like we don't know whether there's parts, number 1, and number 2 if there's time. So fingers crossed, we'll see.
All right, like you said, fingers crossed for you, man.
Thanks, man.
Philippe, sorry to stop you as you're just going into the medical centre. Obviously an unbelievable start to that race. How did you see it?
Yeah, unfortunately I thought everyone's go, and everyone didn't go, and my contract thought the same, and was shit, was terrible. And I think this weekend was not for me, everything was wrong, and unfortunately I had the crash, but now I have to think the next race.
Cars are lined up behind the safety car. It's going to be a single file restart to this sprint race, so the Ferrari leads them away. Neil Yarni, of course, still on pole position. The cars that we've lost from the middle, but there's a problem there for Danny Watts. He's just got going, but it took him a while there to start moving away, and now he's trying to get up to speed, but there's definitely a problem there. Ireland's going past. Yeah, he's got his hand up in the air. Oh, what a disaster this is for Great Britain. They've got a decent grid slot here, and we're hearing from the pits that his problem is a gearbox problem of some sort. He's stuck in 1st gear. That's why he's not going anywhere. Can't believe it. Getting underway here, and now it's a bang in the sprint race because the speed is beginning to build up. Neil Yarni heads down into turn 15, and it's a single file restart as we get underway, and Yarni leads for Switzerland. Loic Duval second for France.